Hello everyone, and welcome back to Babs Hockey. Today I'm going to talk about off-ice training and how it relates to hockey. And so now with a lot of posts coming up about how you should design your off-ice training and what you should be doing in the gym, I'm starting to notice a pretty similar trend. And that is you're starting to see a lot of these talks about box jumps, squatting, hang cleans, snatches, a lot of lifts that are essentially with your feet together, and in simple terms. And the problem with this, it doesn't really relate to hockey movement. And so instead of me trying to work from the beginning, where I talk about fundamentals and the core movements of the human body, I'm going to reverse engineer and start backwards and really look at one of the best skaters in the NHL, McDavid, give you an example of what he's doing biomechanically and how the lifts, like I mentioned, how squatting, deadlifting, hang cleaning, snatching, all these bench pressing, pull-ups. Again, I'm not saying that they have no place in the world of training, but if you're doing this a majority of your time where it's prioritizing your training, there's going to be a problem and in your body, and you're not going to be moving as efficiently as you possibly could. So here I want to watch the full video here, and watching McDavid skate, and you just look at how powerful he is and how smooth he is. And again, I'll continue discussing how these traditional lifts and movements really might make you stronger relative to that movement, but in reality, when you look at how a human moves outside of that realm and how a hockey player moves, which is what you're trying to essentially accomplish, it's not relevant at all. And I'm going to go here and talk about flexing and lengthening instead of using terms like eccentric or concentric, because I feel like that it's a little too specific, and I want to simplify it for everybody. So here I'm going to start right here. So when he's skating through a stride right here, you see that his right leg right here, his quad is flexed, this shin is flexed, this hip flexor is flexed, and it's going all the way up right there. So the right side lower body is completely flexed. And at the same time, his left pec and his left oblique right here on this side are all flexed at the same time. So while that's going on, you have his left leg, which is the quad is lengthened right here, the shin is lengthened right here, and again going all the way back, it's lengthened. This right pec is lengthened as well. So while the right side is flexed, the left side is lengthened. And so when you go and now let's work at like the glutes. So you have the right glute is lengthened, while the left glute right here is contracted. And so if you're starting to notice a theme here, while one side contracts, the opposite side lengthens. So right here, left leg goes forward, right arm comes through, and then as the right leg comes forward, the left arm comes through. So you're starting to see this counter rotation, and it's a concept called contralateral reciprocation. Very big word, but I'll break it down in some videos coming up here shortly. But again, what I'm talking about here is how, now the question I'm actually asking here is how a squat, deadlift, hang clean, or snatch translate into these biomechanics right here that McDavid is using. Yes, you may strengthen that muscle in isolation, but remember, that strengthening is only going to be relevant for when your feet are together in that position that you're strengthening it. And it's not going to translate into this right here where you're starting to see this explosive movement that McDavid uses on a daily basis in a game, where that right leg moves forward, left arm goes through. Same thing, left leg right here. You can see a great example of it is when that left leg goes through, it's almost connected to that right arm. Again, he's really straight. His head is really down here. It's not ideal because he's just trying to finish through here. But again, how does that relate to those movements that I just talked about in your training? And so the next videos that I'll be posting up will really be discussing the principles of the best system I've seen so far, which is functional patterns, which respects human biomechanics, which relate to any sport, specifically hockey. And I discuss how I'm just essentially gearing you with the questions and the tools for you to go back and make sure that your trainer or whoever you're working with is really training you in the most efficient and effective way so that you can be a dynamic and explosive hockey player that is sustainable. Essentially, when you train or prioritize in lifts that are where your feet are together and you're not respecting these movements that I'm talking about as I'm showing McDavid skating, you're ingraining dysfunction that eventually will lead your body to failure or won't allow you to reach your maximum performance. And so I know this video has gone a little bit longer. Hopefully, again, I'm open for discussion. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, because I think it's really important that we understand the role that training should be playing in hockey specifically, or in life. Again, it's all connected. And I want to make sure you're geared with the tools to really make sure you're not getting duped or wasting your time, because it's a very short window you have to develop. So it's really important that you maximize the time you spend when you're training and working on becoming a better hockey player. So please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, reach out. And like I always say, I look forward to helping you get to the next level.